Hi, my name is Lila, and I'm from New Jersey. Please like and subscribe, because MSA will give $1,000 to one lucky person in the coming 7 days. My sister Hannah and I are what you would call Irish twins. We aren't actual twins, but we were born in the same year. We were raised by a single father, and let's just say he had no idea how to raise little girls. Daddy, will you please do my hair? Yeah, sure, honey. And then Dad grabbed the vacuum cleaner and made the world's tightest ponytail. I walked around for hours looking completely surprised because my hair was pulled back so tight. Since Dad was so clueless, his sister Aunt Jenna came over often to help him. And for some reason, she never liked me much, but she adored Hannah. Even though we were almost the same age and looked very similar, Hannah and I were nothing alike. Hannah was your typical girly girl who was really into her looks, whereas I was more carefree. I liked wearing comfortable clothes and playing sports. Hannah did not understand me, so she and my aunt always referred to me as the tomboy. When I was 7, I asked Dad if we could have a father-daughter costume for Halloween. He spent 2 whole nights making them. We dressed as our favorite movie, Ghostbusters. Dad was a Ghostbuster, and I was a tiny marshmallow man. We loved our costumes. But as we were trick-or-treating, Hannah and her friend pointed at us and laughed. What even are you? Yeah, who would want to be a stupid marshmallow? We're princesses.
Aw, come on, Hannah. It's Halloween. It's supposed to be fun and spooky. Don't be so mean to your sister. Everyone has a right to like what they like.
But Hannah and her friends just kept making faces at me, and I felt mad. I grabbed a handful of mud and chucked it right onto their pretty dresses. Dad grabbed my hand and took me home. I thought he was going to be mad at me, but he actually couldn't stop laughing all the way. In the 3rd grade, Hannah and I were really surprised one day when Aunt Jenna came to pick us up from school much earlier than usual. And then she told us that Dad had gotten into an accident on his way to work and that he was gone. My whole world crumbled to pieces. You girls are gonna come live with me now. The first few months living there went by in a haze. Aunt Jenna was always working, so she'd shower us with presents to make up for it. Hannah took it a lot better than I did. She loved living at our aunt's house because it was a mansion and she got everything she wanted. But I didn't care about that stuff. I mostly stayed in my room or went for runs in the huge gardens, anything to keep me busy.
Are you just gonna be sad and moody forever? I miss Dad too, but we have to move on at some point.
I couldn't believe her.
Get out of my room, witch!
When we were in the 5th grade, Aunt Jenna had a party at our house for her friends. She bought each of us a dress and a pair of shoes. When we came downstairs, everyone gushed over Hannah, but when they saw me, they laughed. The dress she'd gotten me was so itchy, so I decided to wear my favorite t-shirt underneath it. I also wore my sneakers instead of the shoes she got because they hurt my feet. Aunt Jenna was not happy when she saw me, and she pulled me aside into the kitchen. Lila, why are you dressed like this?
Because I like it this way.
Well, I don't, so go change.
Why?
Because I said so.
Why?
Because I want you to look pretty for my guests.
Why?
Ugh, can't you just be more like your sister?
Nope, I'm good. Oh, can I have cake before dinner?
With that, I ran into the living room and began helping myself. Aunt Jenna joked in front of her friends that I was just like my dad, and I took that as a compliment. Hannah pinched my arm.
Maybe you should try and be less annoying.
Maybe you should try and be less lame. Hannah cringed when she saw the food in my mouth. When I was in the 10th grade, I tried to try out for the school's track team. I loved running and was super fast. While I was there, I noticed Hannah auditioning for the cheerleading squad. Typical. Just then, I noticed a boy running back to catch a football, but he wasn't looking where he was going. So he crashed straight into the cheerleaders' pyramid, sending them flying like bowling balls. I saw Hannah on the ground rubbing her ankle, and when she got up, she began screaming at him like crazy. But the boy didn't react at all. He just waved at them and walked off. When I went to the bleachers to grab some water, the boy looked at me, then back at Hannah. We're not actual twins. We're Irish twins. The boy frowned and held up his hand. He reached into his pockets and pulled out 2 hearing aids and put them on. Say that again? That's when I realized he was deaf. Oh, I'm sorry. I said we weren't actual twins. Ah,
I thought that's what she said, but I wasn't sure. It helps if you talk clearly. You do look an awful lot like each other, though.
Trust me, I'm way cooler. He laughed and told me his name was Billy, and we instantly clicked. He was a year older and was practicing for football tryouts. He had to take out his hearing aids because the helmet they gave him didn't fit right. We talked the whole day, and I invited him over for a study date. The next day when Hannah came home, she saw us and got so angry.
Excuse me?
Stalker much? Why is he in my house? Get over yourself. We're studying. Leave. She threw a total tantrum and ran to Aunt Jenna. That's the boy who knocked me down, Auntie. He almost killed me. Look at how swollen my ankle is. That's not true. It was just an accident. I explained to Aunt Jenna what happened, and although she didn't seem happy about it, she told Hannah to leave us alone. The next day when Billy came over, I told him to wait for me in the living room while I grabbed us some drinks. Then suddenly I heard a loud crash. I ran back to find Billy frantically cleaning up glass from the floor, while Hannah ran away laughing. And minutes later, she was back with Aunt Jenna.
That creep broke your expensive vase, Auntie.
Oh God, my mother's vase? This boy broke it? It was Hannah. I saw her running away.
It's true, ma'am. I was nowhere near it.
That was a family heirloom. It's been in my family for years. Just get out, both of you. Later that night, she came into my room and said that Billy was not welcome at her place anymore. That boy is a nuisance. He hurt your sister. He broke my vase. He just seems like trouble. You can make much better friends. Do not bring him around here anymore. Is that clear? Hannah did it. Why won't you believe me? No matter how much I tried to reason with her, she wouldn't hear another word about it. But of course, I didn't care what she said, and I wasn't gonna stop seeing Billy. Every day after school, we'd meet in parks and malls, and we grew super close. He taught me sign language, and we even started going to the gym together. I was more than happy to have any excuse not to go home early. And before I knew it, I'd fallen head over heels in love with him. The week before my 16th birthday, I snuck out late one night to see Billy. We went to the park, and as we strolled by the lake, I stopped. I looked deep into his eyes, signing, "I love you" to him. Billy smiled happily, but just then, a police car pulled up right in front of us. My aunt jumped out of the back seat, and so did Hannah. How did they even find us?
You see, Aunt Jenna? I told you she'd be with him.
How dare you sneak out of the house like this? I'll ground you till you're 40. You called the police? Are you insane? I wouldn't need to sneak around if you would just chill out. We care about each other, and I'm gonna see him whether you like it or not. That's nonsense. You barely know this kid. How do you know he's not after you for my money? I know his family, and they are not our kind of people. Don't talk about him like that. Not everything in this world is about looks or money. You'd know that if you actually got to know him, but you refuse to. Get in the car. We'll discuss your punishment when we get home. Punish me all you want. Ground me until the end of time. I don't care anymore. This woman had lost her mind. When my birthday came around, I was still grounded, and Aunt Jenna had taken my phone to ensure I couldn't talk to Billy. I was so angry. I needed to find a way out of this mess. Later that night, a tap on my window woke me from my sleep. I saw Billy standing in the garden behind some bushes. I smiled and waved at him. Just then, he signed to me, "I love you too." My heart melted at the sight, and now I felt more determined than ever to find an escape route from my aunt's house. A week later, when I could finally leave my house, I rushed straight to the local library with the excuse that I had to catch up on my missed schoolwork. Billy was waiting for me in the world history section, and the moment I saw him, I flew into his arms. "I'm so sorry about everything. I don't know what to do anymore."
It's not your fault. That woman is mean and bitter.
"I've missed you so much." Billy leaned down and pressed his lips to mine. My very first kiss. I have to find out who my dad's lawyer was. I'm sure Dad must have left something for me and Hannah. I just have to find a way to be free of her. For the next few months, Billy and I played the world's most intense game of Mission Impossible. I even changed his name on my phone. And at home, I tried to dress up more girly just to make Aunt Jenna happy. At the same time, I went to work to find my dad's lawyer. Aunt Jenna had thrown away Dad's documents when she was clearing out our house, so it was harder than I thought. Then I remembered our old neighbor was close with Dad, so he might have some idea, and I went to go see him. Things were going smoothly, but Hannah was growing a bit suspicious of my sudden change in attitude. I even caught her sneaking around outside my bedroom a few times. But the week before summer break, I messed up big time. Senior prom was around the corner and Billy asked me to be his date. I desperately wanted to go, but I knew my aunt would never allow it. So I lied to her and told her that another boy, Jared, had asked me to go. I thought she'd be okay with it because she knew his mother and he was a richy rich kid. But when Hannah heard this, she blew her top.
Are you kidding me? I had my eye on Jared for 2 whole months, and now you go and steal him from me?
She ran to Aunt, crying. Oh boy, I cannot believe you do this to your sister. What were you thinking? She's never mentioned him before. And I'm pretty sure he's gay too.
You're such a liar. You're just jealous of me and can't stand the fact that I'm in love while you are alone.
Oh, please get over yourself. I'm not the one who's constantly trying to impress and buy friends with our aunt's money. People actually like me. For me. Enough. Lila, stop being rude to your sister. You're just as maddening as your father was. Excuse me? Dad was a great man. Don't you dare talk poorly about him, you witch. My aunt's face turned red and she began screaming at me. Furiously, I marched to my room and locked the door. I had to get out of here, now. I almost wanted to pack my bags and run away instantly, but I had to be a little more patient. For the next week, I kept to myself, quietly communicating with Dad's lawyer. He shared some news with me that had me smiling from ear to ear. The next afternoon, I told Aunt and Hannah that an important guest was here to see us. We went downstairs to find an old man in a suit waiting for us in the living room. Billy was standing by the door, and I winked at him. Who is this man, and what is he doing here? And why is that boy here? The lawyer introduced himself and presented a copy of Dad's will. He explained that according to Dad's will, I was free to leave my guardian after 16. And then he revealed the most shocking news. Dad had inherited a rare jewelry collection, and it now belonged to me and Hannah. But you already knew that, right, Auntie? You were gonna keep this knowledge from us till you found some way to steal our inheritance. Aunt's face had turned livid. That was supposed to be mine. I don't understand why my idiot brother inherited those jewels from our mother, but I will not lose them again. You already have, and there isn't much you can do about it. Hannah, I know Aunt Jenna has never liked me much, but she was gonna rob you too, her favorite niece. I suggest you take your share and leave her too, because she is a vulture. With that, Billy and I left with Aunt begging and Hannah screaming at her. So, now that you're free at last, what happens next? I smiled and jumped into his arms, kissing him. That's the wonderful part. I have no idea, but I do know my life is gonna be a lot better from now on. Thank you for putting up with all of this. Billy smiled sweetly and signed, I love you.